I want you to imagine this for a moment. A 70-year-old man in America had reached. I want you to imagine this for a moment. A 70-year-old man in America had reached a breaking point. Financial problems had piled up for years, and eventually his family gave up on him. They pushed him out of their lives and left him feeling completely hopeless. But hidden among his belongings were a few old coins that looked ordinary to everyone else. One day, he learned that those coins were worth an astonishing amount of money. Suddenly, everything changed. The same man who was once treated like a burden became the richest member of his family. He created a fortune from coins people would normally toss into a jar or spend at a store. That's why you need to pay close attention today. The coins I'm about to show you could be hiding in your pocket, your drawer, or your collection right now. Ignore them, and you might walk away from a life-changing opportunity without ever knowing it. Coin number 1. Imagine reaching into your pocket and pulling out a dark brown wheat penny covered with black layers on both sides, then tossing it onto a counter without a second thought. That simple mistake could cost you a small fortune. The 1,942 wheat penny with no mint mark is one of those coins that most people overlook because it doesn't scream rare. It looks old, worn, and ordinary, but that appearance is exactly what makes it dangerous to ignore. This is not fiction. This is hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. While millions were produced, finding one today with its original character still intact has become increasingly difficult, and collectors know it. What makes 1942 so fascinating is the moment in American history it represents. The United States had entered World War II. Industries were under pressure, resources were being watched closely, and the country was preparing for enormous economic and manufacturing demands. Coin production was operating during a period of national transition, and the wheat penny became part of everyday commerce during one of the most important years in modern American history. People spent these pennies on necessities, carried them through wartime uncertainty, and passed them from hand to hand. Few imagined that decades later, collectors would become obsessed with preserving surviving examples from this era. Take a close look at the coin itself. On the obverse, you'll see Abraham Lincoln facing right with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," across the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1942 to the right. Because there is no mint mark beneath the date, this coin was struck in Philadelphia. Turn it over and you'll find the famous wheat ears framing the words 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum above. The design feels instantly recognizable, yet collectors spend countless hours studying tiny details that most people miss. This detail changes everything. The surfaces, lettering sharpness, and natural aging patterns often determine whether a coin becomes desirable or forgettable. The coin is made from 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a solid metallic presence that collectors love. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, has a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, a thickness of around 1.52 millimeters, and a girth or circumference of roughly 59.8 millimeters. During heavy wartime production, dies experienced stress and wear from continuous use, leaving subtle differences that collectors carefully inspect. Even when no dramatic error exists, the pressure of production adds character to surviving examples. Hold one in your hand, and it feels like a direct connection to a nation facing uncertainty while continuing everyday life. One reason collectors become emotionally attached to this coin is its appearance. Many surviving examples display dark brown toning, black layers, and antique-looking surfaces developed naturally over decades. Most people see dirt. Experienced collectors see originality. Never clean the coin. A single cleaning attempt can permanently destroy the natural toning that took generations to form. Original surfaces often carry more appeal than bright, polished ones. Professional grading is critical because experts can determine whether the coin remains authentic, original, and worthy of serious collector attention. Most people miss this and accidentally damage valuable coins before learning the truth. Today, demand continues to rise, while attractive original examples become harder to find. Many collectors who acquire desirable 1,942 wheat pennies choose to hold them rather than sell, tightening supply even further. Auction bidding can start quietly and then suddenly become aggressive as determined buyers compete for ownership. In today's market, a fine condition 1,942 wheat penny with no mint mark and desirable original surfaces can command around $90 zeroth. That's not pocket change. That's hidden wealth. That's a silent fortune. That's a life-changing opportunity disguised as a 1-cent coin. Do not spend this coin. Check the date, check the surface, protect the original toning, and be patient, because patience creates wealth. And if you think this coin is impressive, wait until you see the next wheat penny, because the next discovery is even rarer, even more shocking, and far more dangerous to ignore. Next up, the coin you're about to see is exactly the kind of treasure people throw away without realizing it. In fact, some collectors get excited when they spot this penny hiding in old jars because they know what most people don't. A 1,948 wheat penny with no mint mark, especially one showing natural dark green spots across both the obverse and reverse, can trigger serious interest among dedicated buyers. It doesn't look rich. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't announce its value. That's what makes it so dangerous to ignore. Hidden wealth rarely looks valuable at first glance, and this coin proves that point perfectly. If you find one, do not spend this coin. What appears to be an old penny could actually be a silent fortune sitting unnoticed in your collection. The story behind the 1,948 wheat penny begins during a fascinating period in American history. World War II had ended only a few years earlier, and the United States was experiencing major economic adjustments. Factories that once focused on wartime production were transitioning to civilian needs. Families were rebuilding their lives, and the nation was entering a new era of growth and opportunity. Millions of pennies flowed through stores, banks, and neighborhoods during this period. Yet despite large production numbers, very fine examples that survive decades of circulation while retaining their original character are becoming increasingly difficult to locate. This is not fiction. Every year more are damaged, cleaned, lost, or spent, leaving collectors competing for the survivors. At first glance, the design appears familiar, but collectors know every detail matters. The obverse displays Abraham Lincoln facing right with the words, "In God we trust," above his portrait, "Liberty" to the left, and the date 1,948 to the right. Because there is no mint mark beneath the date, this coin was struck in Philadelphia. On the reverse, 2 wheat stalks frame the inscriptions 1 cent and United States of America, while E pluribus unum stretches across the top. Collectors often study the lettering, rim quality, and overall eye appeal for hours. The smallest detail can separate an ordinary-looking example from one that creates bidding wars. Stay till the end, because one particular feature on this coin changes everything. Made from 95% copper, with the remaining 5% consisting of tin and zinc, the 1,948 wheat penny carries the classic composition collectors associate with the golden age of Lincoln cents. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, has a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters, and a girth of roughly 59.8 millimeters. During production, coin dies were used repeatedly under immense pressure, gradually developing wear that specialists still analyze today. While this coin has no famous era attached to it, its connection to post-war America and its surviving condition make it a powerful collector piece. Holding one feels like holding a small piece of history that somehow escaped decades of damage. Now let's talk about those dark green spots. Most people see discoloration and immediately think the coin is damaged. Experienced collectors often see something very different. Natural aging, oxidation, and decades of storage can create unique surface patterns that give a coin character and originality. These surfaces tell a story. The biggest mistake a coin owner can make is trying to clean them away. Never clean the coin. Cleaning strips away originality, destroys collector confidence, and can permanently reduce value. Original toning matters. Professional grading is critical because experts can verify authenticity, condition, and surface preservation. Many valuable coins lose enormous amounts of value simply because someone thought they were improving their appearance. The reason collectors chase this specific coin goes beyond age. Demand continues to grow while quality examples become harder to find. Serious buyers often hold on to their best pieces for years, sometimes decades, reducing the number available on the market. Auction activity can become surprisingly intense when an attractive original example appears. Bidders stay quiet at first, then suddenly compete aggressively as the price climbs higher and higher. In today's market, a very fine 1,948 wheat penny with no mint mark, original surfaces, and distinctive dark green spotting can reach around $75. That's serious money hiding in a coin many people would never examine twice. You're holding a fortune if you find the right one. Check the date first, protect the original surfaces, avoid cleaning at all costs, and remember that patience often rewards collectors more than quick decisions. And don't relax yet, because the next wheat penny on this countdown is even scarcer, even more valuable, and the shocking reason collectors are chasing it may leave you checking every penny you own tonight. Next up, what if the coin that nearly everyone ignores is actually the one collectors secretly hope to find? That's the story of the 1953D wheat penny. People see the black, brown, and green antique spots covering the surface and assume it's just an old, dirty cent with no importance. Then they discover what serious collectors already know. Some of these survivors have become highly desirable because original examples are disappearing year after year. This is hidden treasure hiding in plain sight. It's the kind of coin that gets spent accidentally, forgotten in drawers, dropped into tip jars, and lost forever. Do not spend this coin. Before you dismiss it as ordinary pocket change, take a closer look, because what you're holding could be a silent fortune. The year 1953 was a fascinating time in American history. The nation was experiencing economic growth, new technologies were entering daily life, and Americans were looking toward a future filled with optimism after years of wartime sacrifice and post-war adjustment. Coin production remained an important part of a growing economy, and billions of transactions relied on Lincoln cents every day. The Denver Mint worked hard to keep up with demand, striking countless pennies that entered circulation almost immediately. Most were used heavily, worn down through decades of purchases, and eventually disappeared. That's why finding a surviving 1953D wheat penny with strong character and original surfaces has become much more difficult than many people realize. Most people miss this reality entirely. The design is one of the most recognizable in American coinage, yet collectors never stop studying it. On the obverse, Abraham Lincoln faces right beneath the words, "In God we trust." To the left appears Liberty, while the date 1953 sits to the right, accompanied by the small but important D Mint mark identifying production at Denver. Turn the coin over, and you'll see two wheat ears framing 1 cent and United States of America with E pluribus unum above. Every letter, every rim detail, and every surface feature attracts attention from dedicated collectors. This detail changes everything because originality often matters more than people expect when determining collector demand. Like other wheat pennies of the era, the 1953D was struck from an alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. It weighs approximately 3.11 grams, measures 19.05 millimeters in diameter, has a thickness of about 1.52 millimeters, and a girth of roughly 59.8 millimeters. While those numbers seem small, collectors often memorize them because authenticity matters. During production, dies faced continuous use and pressure as enormous quantities of cents were manufactured. That demanding environment left subtle characteristics that specialists still examine today. The coin may be physically small, but its historical connection and collector appeal make it feel much larger than its size suggests. One of the most captivating aspects of this coin is its appearance. The combination of black, brown, and green antique spots creates a look that cannot be duplicated naturally once it's removed. To inexperienced eyes, those colors may seem unattractive. To experienced collectors, they often represent decades of untouched history. Original toning matters. Never clean the coin. A cleaned surface loses the story it spent generations developing and can instantly reduce collector interest. Professional grading is critical because experts evaluate whether the surfaces remain original and whether the condition deserves recognition in the marketplace. Many valuable coins have lost substantial value simply because an owner tried to make them look newer. Today, collectors continue chasing attractive 1953D wheat pennies while the supply of original examples quietly shrinks. Some buyers wait years before finding one with the exact appearance they want. When an appealing piece reaches the market, bidding behavior can become surprisingly competitive. The room may stay calm at first, then suddenly transform as determined collectors battle for ownership. That's because they understand what many people don't. Surviving examples are becoming harder to replace. In today's market, a fine-condition 1953D wheat penny with original black, brown, and green antique spotting can reach around $60. That's serious money. That's hidden wealth. That's a life-changing opportunity disguised as a 1-cent coin. Check the date, confirm the D-Mint mark, protect the original surfaces, avoid cleaning at all costs, and be patient because patience creates wealth in this hobby. And now that you've seen all three coins, ask yourself one question. How many valuable wheat pennies have already passed through your hands without you ever knowing what they were worth?